Welcome to another episode of Paid and Passion, where we let our passions work for us. Today we have Tyren and Kay.
Nope.
Would you guys introduce yourselves and tell us what passion's paying you guys right now?
For sure. So, what's up, you guys? I'm Kay. And
My name is Tyren.
right. And so, right now, honestly, some passions that are paying us. One of the main things that we do right now is content creation, which is something that we're really passionate about, something that we really enjoy. As well as I do real estate. I got my license last summer.
Okay.
And so it's coming up on a year now of doing it, and I really enjoy that too. So
Okay.
Right. Yeah, she really summed it up. Those passions. Like we started with content creation last year.
about a year ago too.
Okay.
And from there it's just been something that's it's not even that we're really like looking for the payment from it. We just kind of showcase our life
Right.
and entertain with our life. And
Right.
of course, whatever you put on social media, there's a way for you to monetize that. So it's like, we just kind of transition into the whole content creation space just
Right.
from the idea of saying, let's document our life and just kind of put it on social media platforms and kind of go into entertainment as well. So that's
Okay.
what we started about a year ago now. And, everything's been up since then. So,
Okay, that's good. Whose idea was it to say, let's put this on social media?
I feel like it was more like it was like a combination of both.
Mhm.
But I definitely already like did YouTube. So like I
Okay.
had my first YouTube channel when I was like 15 years old, like in
Mhm.
high school. So I was already kind of like in the social media world a little bit. And we kind of both were already like creators in a way as well. So I don't know, it just kind of happened. Like we started getting really into like watching YouTube videos like around this time last year and stuff like that. And we were just like, and I just told him one day, I was just like, why don't we start like a
just do
YouTube
it.
channel?
Right. We
Like,
was just
why don't
like,
we
let's
start a
just do it.
YouTube channel? We might as well. And so we didn't have like a good camera at the time. I was
Right.
telling you before, like we had an older camera from when I first started filming back in like, back in the day. So it was outdated and we didn't really want to film with that because it was just bulky and big and we wanted like a smaller
Right.
vlog size camera. So we didn't start YouTube right away. But in the meantime, we were just like, well, why don't we just start a TikTok?
Okay.
Like, why don't we just start posting on TikTok
Right.
and, until we get our camera and then just kind of go from there. And then it just kind of just,
Flow from
yeah,
there.
it just kind of just blossomed from
Okay.
there.
Just like the different stages of social media,
Mhm.
because it's just levels to it.
It
You have
is,
TikTok,
for
you have
sure.
Instagram, then you have YouTube.
YouTube,
which
it's a
is like
whole different ball game.
okay. So can you tell us why it's a whole different ball game? Like what do you think are the, I don't want to say biggest challenges, but just the biggest takes that you have from, all right, so this is what us when we were making our TikToks. This is us when we made our YouTube, and this is the big difference between these two.
You want to answer this first?
You can go first.
So honestly, the biggest difference between like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram is that YouTube is a lot more time consuming.
Okay.
You have to think about the planning of what you're actually going to film. You have to take the time to actually film it. Then on top of that, you have to take the time to actually go through and put it through an editing software and edit. And if you don't already know how to edit, then you have to learn how to edit.
Right.
If the processing that it takes to actually upload onto your computer, then onto YouTube, it takes like a few hours to do that. So it's like it's more time consuming. And the videos, of course, are longer form content.
Right.
So we post videos that are, honestly, I would say minimum 15 minutes each, and they can go up to like the last video we posted was 40 minutes long.
Right.
So now we're having to go through every single video and sit there and edit.
Right.
And, just kind of just pick apart all the content. So it's like it takes a while.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people don't realize with YouTube how time consuming it really can be. Like, a lot of people want to do YouTube because honestly, for me, like YouTube is one of my favorite platforms. I feel like I can really just be myself and say how I feel, say what I want, like
Right.
as long as I want. Like I don't have really a time limit.
Right.
So that's why I really like YouTube, but it does take time.
Right.
As opposed to TikToks where, we do a lot of like trends, or we do just a lot of little funny videos and little things that could take literally like an hour or two to make.
We can go through TikTok and make probably like 15, 20 videos in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Just because it's like how it's set up. It was a lot easier. And I'm glad we kind of started with TikTok first because it just made it, again, it made it more simple for us to understand the work that, has to go into content creation. Because even then, like, we're posting on TikTok every single day, multiple times a day, every single day. So we kind of just learned a skill of what we call batching. So we kind of like spend a whole day and we're just recording a whole bunch of content and saving it and recording it and saving it. So that way, throughout the week, now we can just post whenever we kind of want to, and we're not set on we got to record, then post. And that's the beauty behind TikTok. You can do it on YouTube. We definitely did it last December as well, just kind of batching our videos, but it does take a lot longer because like you said, you got to go through the whole filming, editing, and then uploading process. And it's just, so us just getting in the habit of batching our content and creating mass amount of content made it easier for us to transition into YouTube because that's people's problem on YouTube is that it takes a lot of work. Right. So some people start not knowing how much work it takes to record and edit the videos, and they're not prepared for the type of content that they're going to consistently have to put out. Right. And, it just gets to a point where they quit, So for us, we already knew it's going to take consistency, and that's what we learned just from our TikTok platform, and just now repurposing all of our content from TikTok to other social medias like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube Shorts, and stuff like that. So
that's smart. I feel like consistency is that important thing, and just having like a plan of what you're gonna do or like who your audience is. You kind of have to identify all those things before you're going into YouTube. Because like me just growing up, people always told me, because my personality, oh yeah, Josh, make a YouTube. And then I tried to make one in college. And I was just like, I don't even know what to do. Like I made like 2 videos and I was just like, I don't even know like what the whole purpose of this is. Right. Like, so I stopped doing that until I realized, all right, so this is now what I'm doing. I guess I can be part of the content creation crew. Right. Yeah. Right. So I have like a purpose. I have a plan with everything. And it's like, all right, the content that I'm going to have, I know how I can continue to have content. Right. Because especially if you want to make it big in like the YouTube industry, like you have to put content out there. Right. Consistently.
Consistently. Sure. Right. You have to.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we're about to go way back. We're about to go back. Like many other people that I've interviewed, as in many, I mean, all of them, we attended the University of Georgia. So what were you guys majors back in college?
Well, I was a exercise and sports science, but then I switched to psychology because I just realized that what I intentionally wanted to do or what I intended on doing in life, I didn't need to do exercise and sports science. Like it was just a lot of extra stuff they were calling for and asking for. And it's the University of Georgia, so it's like they be wilding for no reason. So it's just like, I was like, you know what? I can still do what I want to do and just go a different major. And for me, psychology and just understanding how the mind works was something that always interested me because I just loved like understanding how people thought. Right. And I kind of got into that because, of course, I played football and I was having concussions and things like that. And I just always wanted to know, okay, what really happens with your brain during times like that? And that just kind of led me to just going into like the learning of the brain and learning how our brain kind of controls everything and our emotions and our decisions that we do. And so it kind of just worked out perfectly for me going to psychology route. Of course, I'm not a psychologist or anything, but it's like it was a lot easier that way to get through, and it just helped me out for sure.
And I'm sure you kind of use some of those things. And even again, when I tell my students about like school and stuff, like even if you don't use everything that you were taught in school, you kind of just have a different view or perspective on life, depending on what you did. Right. And it's like, even though you're not a psychologist, like you just have the background of psychology. Like, so if someone does this, or even you trying to figure out and understand what your audience wants to see, you kind of look at it. People might not think it's that deep, but you definitely see it with a different perspective than other people.
Right. Because there'll be random times where I'll pull something that I learned from, some random psychology class, and I just like think about it, and it's like, okay, well, this applies here. So it's like little stuff. Yeah. So we, it's always just different advantage or a different perspective that you'll have no matter what it is that you're doing, no matter what you learn in school. You could take something and apply it to your life to give you a different perspective and a uniqueness to yourself that other people may not see or understand. And I
Right.
think that's what helps us stand out the
Okay.
most. So
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's
yeah,
good. Okay.
yeah. But for me,
Well, my story is a little bit different. So for me, like I told you, like in high school, I always, honestly, me personally, have always had like more of an entrepreneurial mindset. So for me in high school, I was like, okay, I'm gonna start this YouTube, like I'm gonna have, all this stuff, da da da. But when it came down to going to college, personally, I didn't even really want to go, honestly. So that was kind of something that for me, I was just like, okay, like I'll apply. I applied to literally 2 Georgia schools when I was applying. I applied to UGA, and I was already taking dual enrollment classes at state.
Okay.
So I was kind of already in the door. Like I didn't have to apply again. But when I got into UGA, I was just like, okay, cool. Like, cause I low-key didn't expect to. I didn't really, like it wasn't like for me like a big thing. But like when I got in, I was like, okay, might as well go. Get away from, because I'm from Atlanta. So I was like, okay, get away from the city, get a little time to myself and stuff like that. So I studied communications and journalism when I was there. But for me, my college experience wasn't even about that. It was really just like the experiences and the networking and like, just being there. And I think that's the beautiful thing about like going to school and going to college is like, you can kind of just take like y'all were saying, you can kind of just take what you want from it or what you need from it, at the end of the day. Because for some people it might have been the actual classes or curriculum, but for other people it might have just been like the experience and meeting people and just surrounding yourself in a different environment than you actually grew up in. And I feel like a lot of that for me, like that's really what it was. And that's really why I always will value like UGA and like going to school. Oh,
yeah,
right. True. That's true. That's true. Yeah, we met at UGA
because of UGA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like you said, like it's you take what you want from college. You know, of course, for me personally, I came from a small town. I came from a place where I didn't even know that, Black people could be like me, because I felt like I was always an outlier. Like for me, it was a lot of the Black kids from where I'm from, they were just in the streets, or they weren't, for me personally, I wasn't in the streets. Like I wasn't somebody that was like that. I was just, I always knew what was going on. I was aware. But, even me just going to UGA, I was like, man, I don't even know. Am I going to be around? If you were Black, if you were Black where I'm from, if you were Black where I'm from, you were either in the streets or you were the weird nerd. Right. You know what I'm saying? So like, I was just like, man, I don't even know, because if I'm gonna go up here and it's gonna be nothing but weird people, like I don't even know who I'm gonna be cool with,
that's legit, though.
Because I didn't know nobody. I'm from Rome. Like I didn't come from a place that like, a lot of people were around the schools or people going to UGA. Like I didn't know nobody going to UGA.
Not Rome, the country in Europe.
Yeah, Rome, Rome, Georgia. Rome
is not a country in Europe.
It's a city.
Rome, Italy. I know my stuff. Yeah. But not Italy. Someone's gonna be like, oh, that makes
it was just different for me. Yeah. So just going to college and just seeing, the people, just the different types of people. And now it's like, I met people who are like lifelong friends for me. Right. You know what I'm saying? That people that a lot of the friends that I had back home, I don't even talk to no more, because like we don't really relate the same way. Yeah. So it's like, I'm grateful for UGA, because as much as like I didn't like college, like it really helped me become who I am and think the way I think, and it surrounded me with people who now that's like family to me. So
no, definitely
for sure.
That's great.
And it helped me meet her. So,
right. We love bugger couples. We love bugger couples. Should have been me. If you're out there,
it could have been.
Not if you're out there.
But
hey,
look. You know where to find
UJ 17, 16, hit me up. I'm looking for
if you're watching,
be my content creator partner. Seriously. Okay, that's good. I don't know why I said that. All right, so we're gonna come back to the content creation. So what is your guys' schedule like? So how do you guys actually organize what you guys are doing for content creation?
So with our schedule, like how we kind of plan things out, because I do real estate as well, specifically apartment locating. So it's not as like demanding as traditional real estate can be. But it's still something that does take time, of course. So what we like to do is we really like to do our content on the weekends. We like to, like you said, batch our content so that we can, just have content to post throughout the week. We don't have to really worry too much about it. All we have to do is like go in and kind of just post. Like if we have little things to edit, like little videos for either TikTok or Instagram that we do have to edit, then we'll go in throughout the week and kind of do that most of the time. But usually throughout the week, it's just editing YouTube videos and posting the batch content that we already have, basically. So it makes it really simple. It makes it, a lot easier. It helps to break down the work in your mind, I feel like, because like he said, it can be overwhelming when you feel like you have, or not even when you feel like, when you actually have to like literally, what am I trying to say? Record.
Right.
Yeah, like actually record every day and then edit every day and then post every day. Like we were doing that for a period and it was just a headache.
Yeah,
it was just a headache.
We would literally just be like, okay, we know we're posting 3 TikToks a day. We got to go find 3 TikToks today that we want to post, that we're going to create. It was just so much more hectic. And then it got to a point where it was like, I was leaving. I was going on like a vacation last summer. And we was like, okay, well, since you're going to be gone, we still need TikTok videos to post, like even while you're gone. So it was like, I guess we just got to record a whole bunch of them before I leave. And we saw how quickly we could record 20 videos. And we was like, let's just do that. Like now we ain't got to worry about being stressed every day of the week because, you got stuff going on. I got stuff going on. It's like, it's a lot. It's a lot happening. So when we figured that out, we was like, okay, cool. Weekends, we're going to make all of our videos. And then during the week, of course, on YouTube, a lot of times it can be spontaneous. So sometimes we can just want to vlog, pick up the camera and vlog randomly. Pranks happen randomly. So it's like, you never know with that, but it's still not as stressful as like, you don't know anything, or it's like, you just kind of wake up and like, what are we going to do today? Like, no, we have a schedule that kind of keeps us on schedule and we're getting even more organized now. So,
And I feel like too, with TikTok, like he said, because we were posting like 3 times a day, like out the gate, like for a majority of the time that we've been on TikTok, we literally would post 3 times a day, which is a lot of content. So it's like, we kind of didn't have a choice, but to kind of do it that way, because it was just getting so stressful to a point where we're like, okay, dang, like how are we going to keep, like, how is this going to be sustainable? So I feel like, kind of breaking it up that way has really helped our time. And like you said, we're getting even more organized with like YouTube and stuff, because we want to be even more consistent on YouTube. And that comes to a point of like, okay, we have to actually come up with a posting schedule. Okay, we want to post 3 times a week. Okay, let's choose Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Like, it doesn't really matter, but like, let's choose a day to where we can hold ourselves accountable to it. And like, if we don't post, then it's like, we notice it, because sometimes it'll kind of just go by and you'll be like, oh, like we didn't post, whatever the case may be. But
we
if
look
you
up
know,
and it's been like a week and a half and we haven't posted anything yet. So it's like, oh, what, you got something on you?
Yeah, I had like a huge tack in my
Oh, that's great. No. I'm just stabbing you over there.
Right. I don't got no taps.
But yeah.
So when it comes to, editing and figuring out what you guys want to do as a team, do you guys do everything together, or do you guys like focus on what one person is good at, or like talents or skills or whatever? Or do you guys like swap and be like, all right, I'm gonna edit this video, or you're gonna edit this video, or what y'all do?
We've always just been, one thing about us is like, even before content creation, we've always been together. So we just kind of learned how to work as a team in everything that we do, because it's like, teamwork is, teamwork makes the dream work at the end of the day. Like, it's just as cliche as it is, it does make the dream work. And we kind of look at ourselves as almost like one person. Like, we can do multiple things because it's 2 of us that think the same, act the same. So it's like, we can, if I'm doing something, she can do something else. So what keeps us efficient, especially with YouTube, because like you said, it can get taxing on time, trying to edit YouTube videos and things like that. She's really good at like understanding, the key parts of what each YouTube video needs. So she'll go through, and we call it like the rough cut. And she'll go through and she'll cut it up in the specific places where, it flows and still makes sense. And then I'll go back after her and do all the sound effects and the graphics and the animations and the zooms and the cuts and things like that. And boom, now we're able to just delegate our strengths, what each other is strong at, and just kind of make it flow a lot faster instead of her trying to sit down and edit a whole video for herself. I tried it before. I was like, yo, I can't, I can't do it.
I
like,
tried doing his part, and I'm like,
right, it's like we got certain parts that we do, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just like it makes it easier. And like I said, when you work as a team, and when you got somebody that understands, you know, cool, this is what I'm good at, this is what you're good at. Let's both use what we're good at and kind of combine it, and now we can be a lot more effective and efficient. You know, that's all we care about is effectiveness and efficiency. So it's like, you know, doing that, it's helped us out a lot for sure.
The team don't work, the dream won't either.
Right.
Nope.
It won't work.
That's good. Okay. What is you guys' vision with YouTube? Like, what's the? I don't always like asking long-term goals because I don't like when people ask me long-term goals. So I'll just say like 3 to 5 years.
So I would say, kind of going back to what he said in the beginning of why we even started in the first place. We really just honestly want to just document our lives.
Okay.
And I feel like with YouTube and with all of our social media platforms, we really just want to showcase our lives and our growth and, you know, just like, you know, what we have going on in life, just in hopes that it does inspire people or, you know, that it lets people see a side of us that, you know, they probably wouldn't normally get to see, and just kind of just showcases who we are. I think that is kind of like one of the best ways to sum up our long-term goals for it. You know, we post a lot of like funny, lighthearted content now. And not to say that that will like ever like really change, but, you know, really just to say that, you know, eventually we want to get to a point where we're able to just like showcase our lives and really just, you know, document what we're doing, because we do have like a lot of things that we want to do, like even outside of content, outside of like, you know, like in the entrepreneurial space. So it's like we want to be able to document that for people watching, but also for ourselves. Like a lot of why we do YouTube is so that we can go back and literally just look at our own lives and be like, dang, like look how far I came, or look how far we came, and you know, look at what we've been through, or look at, you know, where we are now. You know what I'm saying? So like we want to be able to just look back on that and just, you know, really just inspire ourselves sometimes too.
Right. And that's the beauty behind just content creation in general. And that's what I just advise for people. You know, someone that's interested in getting started in content creation or just, you know, any type of content in general is like, you know, really just to start and just put yourself out there and understand that, you know, I don't even like, I heard something like not too long ago, and there was a guy, he was talking about it. He was like, a lot of people have goals, but he said the reason why a lot of people have goals is because they're too lazy to have standards. And what I learned about, and what he explained in this, like when you have goals, you can easily write down a goal and you can see that goal or something you want to accomplish. But as soon as something doesn't go your way, or as soon as you don't feel like you're on track, you quit, you get discouraged or things like that. But he was like, when you have standards are different. It actually allows you to hold yourself to a certain level that you want to be. And I just feel like in growth, in content creation as a whole, like, cool, we have these goals of things we want to accomplish, but in order for us to accomplish those goals, we got to follow a certain standard. And that standard is where we're gonna, you know, it's gonna push us to where we want to be 3 to 5 years from now, which of course is just, you know, on, you know, having a bigger platform, having different things that we're diving into within entrepreneurship, as far as just, you know, a lot of different things and businesses that we're going to create and things like that. But again, you got to hold yourself to a certain standard more than just say this is a goal, you know. So we're just working every day and having that standard, and we feel like eventually, you know, like you said, 3 to 5 years from now, it's gonna pay off. So for sure.
Okay, that sounds good. That's actually really good. Okay. So I know people are always curious on how people actually make money doing content creation. Like people figure, you know, I don't even know what I'm trying to say either. I don't know. So like what is like the monetization of social media? Like what is that? Of course, like I'm not asking for like amounts or anything, but like what does that kind of look like?
So basically, it really depends on what route you kind of take with social media. I know for YouTube with monetization, a lot of it is Google AdSense, and that's where you basically get paid per view, you know, and for your views and stuff like that. And then they also have those platforms starting to integrate. Well, it was integrated into Instagram before they actually took it away with Reels Play bonuses.
Okay.
It's integrated into TikTok. Once you get to a certain level of following, you can actually join their creators marketplace and their creators fund, and then they'll pay you per your views and stuff like that. But a lot, and I would say majority of the money that content creators make comes from sponsorships and brand deals.
Okay.
So that's honestly where the real money is when you can actually start working with brands and
sense.
Using your platform to draw a bigger audience towards their brand.
Right.
That's when you can actually start to sign those like really big deals and get in the contracts with those brands, and they'll pay you to actually just, even if it's like a couple seconds in the beginning of your YouTube video, like they'll pay you thousands to do that. You know what I'm saying? So
it's just the way that a lot of brands are moving towards, just the influencer marketing way.
Right.
They're not spending millions of dollars on commercials or billboards or things like that. They'll much rather pay 10 creators $1,000 instead of spending $100,000 on a billboard. They can spend $10,000 for 10 creators. Boom. Now they're using those creators to now earn revenue for their business. So it's like you're investing into the creators that share the same similar ideals of the company, and then boom, now it just kind of grows from there. So that's kind of what a lot of these big time companies, or even small companies, like people, there is small businesses, most businesses, they're using their social media, they're using social media influencers to push their brand or push their product. And I feel like that's the most the easiest way of doing it as a business, using other people's platform to grow yours. You know what I'm saying? So now, and everybody's compensated. It's not like you're using someone and not either you're gonna get, when we're working with specific brands, either we get free merchandise from whether it's clothes or body wash or whatever it is, whoever we're working with, like hair products, whatever. It'll be that, or of course they'll compensate us with an actual payment. So it's definitely beneficial on both sides, for sure.
That's funny because I think it was earlier this week. It's really funny how this just happened because I dream a lot, or like I imagine a lot of stuff, and like I was like, I want some sponsors. Like I literally just thought, I was like, time for me to get some sponsorships.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. Like even there's different stuff. This is not a sponsorship, but this is BOK Fever, the hoodies, UGA.
I actually like that for sure.
Like that
Crew name.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah, no, but it's really nice.
I really
so
like that.
you guys, I don't know if they're still selling these, but go follow them or whatever. And if y'all see this, come, we can't DMs. Okay. That's really good, actually. Okay. So what do you guys think has been one of you guys' biggest challenges with this? Or like times where you're saying, maybe we should stop doing content creation and, go the traditional whatever route. But obviously you guys, when you have those doubts in your mind, those are good things because that means you're challenging yourself. Whatever you're doing is not supposed to be easy, but you're supposed to be like, all right, I have these doubts or whatever out my mind. So what do you guys think has been, or what are some of you guys' biggest challenges so far?
I would say probably because with content creation and with building a platform, I feel like of any kind, it can start slow. I mean, majority of the time it does start slow, and I feel like a lot of times that can be like the part where you're just like, where you have those doubts and you have those like, oh, should I be investing all this time into this, when it's not seeming to pay off immediately.
Right.
And I feel like definitely when we first started, like a lot of last year, we were going through that a lot, like, okay, how much time should we be investing in this, like, is it really worth our time, whatever the case may be. Now of course we're being able to kind of see the fruit of our labor a little bit more, which we're definitely grateful that we didn't stop investing time into it at the end of the day. But it can be hard, like it can be really hard when you're just starting any type of platform to really feel like, okay, is my time being made worth it right now, like, you know what I'm saying? So
and that's the one thing we learned just in business is comparison is a thief of joy. And a lot of people can get caught up because you want to compare yourself or compare where you are to other people
Right.
and or what other people are doing or what other people, and for me personally, I learned that, where you are is just the greatest advantage personally, because number one, it's like now if you feel like you're not where you want to be, you have no choice but to show growth. And
Right.
growth is what
Right.
attracts
Yeah.
people at the end of the day.
Mhm.
So the more you can grow or the more things you can do different, of course, if you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, then it's like, you're not really showing the growth. But if you're able to just see where you used to be and see where you are now and like really understand and critique what was different and just figure out, okay, different things that I could do better, it's going to cause growth. Growth is what attracts people. People love to see that, you're changing, you're growing, you're learning. And that was, like I said, that was, like she said, that was a challenge in the beginning for us, is figuring out what little things we can do to show that, we're growing, or we're really doing this. And, even just something as little as moving apartments. When we moved here, it kind of just opened so many doors for us immediately, just because people noticed that and people understood, okay, wow, like this is, what from where y'all used to be to here, it's growth, it's a change. And that's something you can't just see in the videos we post. A lot of stuff we do is behind closed doors. A lot of things that we do behind the scenes kind of we bring to light through our videos. So just being able to do that in the beginning, it helped us continuously overcome those challenges that we felt, were constantly happening, or, even just the feeling of, man, like, is this worth it? Like, we watch YouTubers all the time who are making, over $100,000-$250,000 a month, and we're like, we ain't doing that yet. But it's like, but it's almost like it's a breath of fresh air. To you also you kind of get to see like where you're going or where you're headed to as well. So that motivates us. We see it and we're like, okay, we're finna go. That's where we're finna be. And and then you have something to kind of copy or something to kind of duplicate your videos or your layout or things that you do, or what the people who have the success are doing. You can kind of see it, and eventually it's going to work for you as well. There's no such thing as overnight success for anybody. Nobody ever was able to just wake up and have everything they ever wanted.
It seems like that.
Right. It does seem like that, but a lot of people don't see the time and the work that people put sometimes years before they are where they are now. So yeah, that's what kind of keeps us level-headed.
Right. No,
that.
that's literally how it is. And just seeing different stuff like on the news and social media and stuff like that. Like even when Designer had his song, Panda, was it Panda?
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't know that like he posted his song 3 times a day for a whole year. Like he lost followers because like, why are you posting this 3 times a day? Like you keep posting it.
Right.
But then when the song came out, I'm pretty sure people thought, oh yeah, this is a overnight success. But it's like, nah, he was trying to get it out to his.
That's how it is. That's how it is. Like just any of these people that you see, the Ice Spices of the world, everybody sees like Ice Spice, or like, nah, the Munch song was actually created a couple years before it even blew up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's older. Yeah, it's like a year. It blew up last year, but it was made like the year before, like something like that. So it's like little things like people don't see. Like you can see people blow up, but they're not just sitting down watching TV and they just look at their phone and they got oh wow, like I'm up, you know what I'm saying? No, like it's a lot of work being put in behind the scenes that people are doing, and I always say, just because they're not showing it or they're not posting about it doesn't mean that it's not happening. It's definitely happening for sure for the serious people who know where they're going. So
and even people post game recognize game. Like if you know that you grind hard, you should be able to like know when someone else grinded for what they got.
Right.
Because I was telling my students some of that stuff. Is like it's hard for me to hate on people, like on people's success. Because me as an individual, like I've been grinding my whole life basically.
Right.
So when I see someone get so much success, I just like, oh, this person been grinding for years. Like no one just grinds for like a day and be like, okay, I'm rich. No, like you've been grinding for years, and it's like I can only commend that because you worked for what you got. And that instead of comparing yourself, like as you guys are saying, that should inspire you to oh, that's somewhere I can get, and then once I get that, time to do some more.
You're right. Because it's never ending. You know, it's never. where you are, where you even want to get to. When you get there, you're always going to want more.
Right.
That feeling of just like I'm still nowhere near my prime.
Right.
Like that is what keeps you just head down.
Yeah.
Like, because I promise you, like what you think you're doing, somebody else is doing that like 10 times easier. A lot, you know, like it's natural for them. So it's like you got to stay humble and you got to realize, cool, I don't even like to compare myself. I don't even like to look at other people and compare what they're doing versus I'm doing, because it's like, nah, like I'd rather just look at where I am and know what I can do. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not even about, oh, well, I got to make this amount of money, or I got to look like this, or I got to do like that. Nah, it's like, okay, cool. This is where I am now. This is what I want to do. I know where I want to be. Let me put my head down and grind and work and go get there, you know? And I can kind of take what other people do as a you know, template, or as like as a layout for okay, this is kind of the direction I'm going, but I know I got to make my own way out of it as well, you know. So because if you copy people too much, it's not gonna work out. Like you got what if you think about the people who are successful, it's like they all have some sort of originality to them, you know. There's not two successful people who do the same thing. Like it's like everybody's original in some way. So find that originality within yourself and use it, you know?
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah.
What point was it? Hold on, I'm trying to like formulate this question. I know what I want to ask, but what was the point that came and it was like, okay, we doing this, like we content creators like this, like just a big moment, a big moment.
What would you say? That's a good question.
That is a good question. I got to think about that one.
For us, I mean, I just feel like that big moment, or that moment where we were like, okay, this is really what we're doing. I would kind of say,
like last March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as like last March was when we made the decision of this is what we're doing. But I think you mean like in the moment of like, doing what we're doing. When did we kind of just like look at it and be like, dang, okay, like this is really
like we get at this. Like, we get at this, or even a moment it's just like, all right, we were doing this for fun, but now we're gonna take it serious. I feel like
it's hard to pinpoint an exact moment, because it kind of happened so gradually. And when we started posting, I think it really started with TikTok, because when we started posting on TikTok, we definitely didn't expect to have videos like start going up the way they did, and start to actually, you know, because we were definitely like at first just kind of doing it for fun, just kind of posting stuff, you know, posting little fun videos, like whatever. And we noticed that, you know, we literally started that platform from zero. And we started like growing like pretty rapidly, like, you know, getting thousands of views here, 1,000 views here, 1,000 views here. And so we're like, dang, like, I wonder what would happen if we just really like kept going. Like if we just really took it serious, like I wonder, like, you know. So I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint an exact moment in the journey where it happened, because like I said, it was just gradual. And, you know, as we noticed our content just, you know, getting more exposure and just getting more out there, like as quick as it was, it just kept that fire going with us, just to actually just keep going, because we're like, dang, okay, we're really like, you know, we're getting traction. And, you know, now we started our YouTube, and then we're like, okay, we're just going to keep going with that. And it's 2 different platforms. So of course you have 2 different audiences, Instagram too, of course, but you know, really our main focuses are TikTok and YouTube. But you know, it's different, but it was, I don't know. That's what I would say. It's kind of like a gradual thing.
Yeah, I think if there was a point, or if I could say that there was a point, I think it was maybe our first like 100K. Brand. I was gonna say our first like brand deal, you know, personally, like the first one where, because I feel like that was the first time where we were really being compensated for what we were doing. And we kind of, like I said, it's not about the money, but it's like at the end of the day, nobody wants to do nothing for free for too long. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when we had that first brand to reach out to us and actually say, we're willing to pay you to make this TikTok or make this video, we was like, yo, like Y'all serious, right? So this is really what's going on. Of course, cool. This is the first one. Like, we're not out here just first brand, $100,000, but it's like it was something for us. We were like, yo, this is lit.
Just the beginning.
Yeah, this is just the beginning, and it's just grown from then. So it's like that moment, we was like, okay, we could charge this much, but imagine when we're here. Like we're understanding our time, what our time is worth, and us being a creator, it's not easy, and it takes time. And now that we're in it, we understand the time that it takes being a creator. And I can definitely just like understand, okay, the amount of time that it takes and the amount of energy that you're giving this, you're gonna want the most compensation possible for that. So I think that first deal kind of made us, it kind of hit a switch like, yo, we can really do this, and we can really, be us and kind of get paid to live our life. We don't have to be someone else or live it. We can literally do what we want to do and get paid for it.
That's great. That's awesome. And you said something that needs to speak to so many people, because they feel like they don't like people who are lazy, people who don't like to work, say, all right, I'm not gonna work a 9 to 5, I'm just gonna be an entrepreneur. So that they can escape working 8 hours a day. No, when you're an entrepreneur, you're working 24/7.
That's the thing. That's the thing people don't get. It's like 24/7. Entrepreneurship is not like,
it's not the easy route.
Right. It's not the easy route. Like, I promise you, entrepreneurship is not the easy route at all. Unless you come from money. Like, if you everything is easier when you have money, more capital. But for anybody that's like, yo, I'm gonna just escape the 9 to 5 and I'm gonna just go straight. No,
you better go get
I promise you, you need to get you a job. You need to get you some type of stable income. Something, it doesn't matter. There's so many jobs that allow you to just sit at home and just look at a computer and they'll pay you, X amount of dollars a year. It's like, it's almost like free money at that point. Like, you're sitting there, you're working, you're going crazy on your business, cool. But at the end of the day, the only thing that's stopping you from growing it how you want to, or moving how you want to, is the capital to be able to now do extra things with it. So when you have that money, it makes entrepreneurship easier. Without a job, without a 9 to 5, it makes entrepreneurship harder. And it's like, you got to just realize too, like, in the beginning of entrepreneurship, I'm going to have to work overtime. If I have a 9 to 5, like, you got to say, okay, cool, 9 to 5, I'm working my job. 6 to 10, I'm working on my business. I'm working on my, I'm working. That's just how it is. Like, that's just what you got to do. It's not, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, let me just wake up whenever I want to. And like, hopefully money's going to fall in my lap today, because no, that's not how it works. Like,
eviction.
No. Right. And, it's just how you have to do it. And that just goes with anything. Entrepreneurship, starting your own business, content creation, everything. Is when you have more capital, you're going to be able to do more for sure. Okay. So,
can we get these socials out to the audience? Let's go ahead and build that up.
Well, okay. So my Instagram is at KaySherieB. Our Instagram together is at kayandtyrenofficial. Our TikTok is at kayandtyrenofficial. And our YouTube is just Kay and Tyren. And then your Instagram.
My Instagram is at thouston_17. And your personal TikTok as well. We got
my personal
social
TikTok,
media is all over the place.
KaySherieB. So we try to keep
Can you repeat that, because it didn't?
Oh, it didn't translate. No. KaySherieB on TikTok. So we try to keep our
you might have
K. Oh, okay. KayCherieB.
Okay.
So we try to keep it like linear across all platforms. That's why I was like, okay, what but we try to keep our names the same, so it's easy for people to find, and it's easier to translate and stuff like that. Kay and Tyren.
And it just flows, it flows. And it's a brand, shout out to the KT gang that's watching this.
Shout out to KT gang.
Appreciate y'all.
We appreciate y'all.
Definitely.
Okay. So do you guys have you guys do have advice. What are some advice you guys have for, beginning people who are thinking about content creation, people who have started content creation but are, trying to figure that out, or even I really feel like you can give advice to someone who is doing more than you. So what's your guys' advice in general?
Advice, I would say, for anyone that does want to do content creation or whatever the case may be, is just to be intentional.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like right now we're living in an age where social media is just so powerful. Like we're living literally in a content era. So like there's a space for everyone. And I think that's so beautiful, especially, on TikTok, on YouTube. I feel like there's so much room for authenticity and kind of going back to what he said, just like being yourself and utilizing your uniqueness as a strength. And I feel like, with social media, like that's just something that you just have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, it's okay to, of course, especially on TikTok, like start out doing trends. Like that's what we did. We started out doing trends and just started out kind of doing that. Now we're kind of fleshing off and just showing like more of who we are personally. And with YouTube, of course, we've always done that because
Mm-hmm.
it's just like our space to just be us. But I would just say just be intentional about every single piece of content that you post. Be intentional about where you want to go. Kind of going back to what you were saying, systems over goals.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I always say, systems over goals. Because if you can implement the right systems into your life,
Mm-hmm.
your goals are going to be accomplished naturally.
Right, yeah.
Your goals are going to fall into place. They're going to fall into line. So it's cool, of course, to set goals. Of course, you want to know where you're going, but focusing on goals every single day is not going to get you to the goal.
Right.
It's going to be the systems, what you're doing on a daily basis. Is it adding up towards your goals?
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to, quantify what you're doing on a daily basis and say, hey, okay, I got one step closer to where I
Mm-hmm.
want it to be? Or are you just sitting there looking at your goals, just waiting for them to
Right.
just magically appear,
Right.
So it's the same thing with content. It's the same thing with entrepreneurship. We've been in entrepreneurship for like what, 5 years now. So, like there's just, it's so much that is transferable across the entire plane. And I think that's like the most important one, is just being intentional every single day with the steps that you're taking. And just being consistent, that it's really no like secret formula. I feel like, especially to content, it's like consistency.
Consistency. I promise you, it's really consistency at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And again, like I just feel like my biggest advice for anybody that's looking just to get more into any type of creative space. Number one, we all have a gift.
Mhm.
We all have something that we're good at. That's something that you find. I posted this on my Instagram a couple days ago. I said that if there's something that you're good at that other people struggle with, that's your gift.
Right.
Mhm.
And if you use that correctly, you'll be wealthy forever.
Yeah.
Like that's just how it is. Like
Yeah.
your gift is something. So I know a lot of people who like to cook, or a lot of people who like to work out, or a lot of people who are just funny people.
Right.
Use that,
Right.
we're in a social media age now where it's
Mhm.
like you can pretty much post you could go on Instagram or go on TikTok and look up anything or
Yeah.
anybody, and you
Anything,
you look, you'll be
anything.
somewhere. Like
Mhm.
I promise you, it's crazy. Just like what people are doing to make their money
Mhm.
is something that we're in a space now where you can pretty much do anything,
Right.
anything, and make money from it. So figure out like I mean, this podcast is paid in passion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like find that passion. Like whatever it is that you're good at, whatever it is that you like, whatever it is that kind of gives you life or gives you a reason to just want to move and wake up and just do. Find a way to monetize it. Find a
Mhm.
way to put it on your social medias. Find a way to draw attraction to it. Find a way to just have people figure out who you are based off of who your passion is. And now it's your passion, because you're not going to ever be bored creating for your
Right.
passion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You're not.
Like you won't. If you love talking and doing podcasts, you'll never get tired of
Right.
doing podcasts, no
Mhm.
matter what happens. Like if you love to work out, you'll never get tired of creating content around your workout schedule. If you like to eat right, you never get tired of cooking and things like that. So it's like you're already having a step ahead of that.
Right.
So when you understand that your passion is what it is, and then you understand what I said earlier, you have a certain standard that you're going by.
Right.
Now your goals are going to seem a lot more attainable,
Right.
because you know you're doing what you love. You know that you have the systems put in place to allow you to do those things that you love. You now have a certain standard for doing the things that you love, and now the goals or the things that you want to do for where you want to be, like I said, it seems more attainable. So
Right.
find that passion, find a way to monetize it, And again, just be humble and know, okay, cool, this is where I'm at, but this is not where I'm going. That's not success. Is not it shouldn't be determined by just the proximity from the destination. It's the source of where you started from, you know. So if you're here,
I'll listen to that.
Yeah, like literally, like if you start here and you just get 2 feet in front of you, you know, that's still, you're successful, you know, because a lot of people didn't take that step. You know, you may not be 100 yards down the field yet, but you're a little bit close. You're a little bit closer than where you were before.
All right. So do you guys have any advice for me?
So I feel like my biggest piece of advice for you would just be to just keep going. Like, I really do love what this podcast stands for, Paid and Passion. I really do feel like, you know, that holds a lot of meaning behind it. And, you know, I really feel like anything that you can just genuinely be consistent with and, you know, just kind of, you know, do it even when you don't feel like it, do it when, you know, it doesn't feel right or whatever the case may be. Like, just because you started it and just because you had that vision in mind, like, just keep going and see it through. I really like what you said earlier when you mentioned that you daydream and you use your imagination, because that's honestly one of our strongest suits. And something that really does set us apart as humans is the fact that we can see ourselves in a space that's different from where we actually are. And we can use our minds to imagine, you know, just anything that we want in life, and we can actually create that. And I feel like a lot of people don't really know how to use that, you know, part of their imagination, or, you know, use it for the right reasons, even though we utilize it every single day, even if we don't notice that, or we don't realize it. But, you know, if you can get to a point of actually consciously being aware of it and continuing to see yourself in a place of where you want to be every single day, and then working towards that every single day, like, this whole entire thing that you have going on, this podcast and everything, like, this brand is going to be like where you want it to be and where you see it, you know, like, literally, like, you can't fail if you just continue to just keep going, and, you know, work towards that every day.
And that's kind of just piggybacking off that, is that brand that you want to create. You know, everything that we have in social media today is built on a brand. And what's going to separate you or separate this from anything else is your brand and how you brand it. So for me, just advice that I would give is continuing to find ways of branding and challenging yourself to brand yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can be a challenge because you're always looking for, you know, other different ways, or, you know, just studying different people or just having different ideas. But it's like, at the end of the day, you got to look at, this is something you created. This is your passion product. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how can I make this unique to me? How can I, you know, because believe it or not, people don't care about, you know, what's actually being said. A lot of times people tune in because they're more focused on the brand. People they listen to things because of who it is, you know? So figuring out, okay, how am I going to challenge myself to not only keep the brand that I have, but also continue to grow my brand. So more people than just people that I know even want to watch this or listen in on how can I make it, you know, different, you know? So that's just, you know, a little piece of advice. And then, of course, it's just, I always tell anybody that's looking to get into a space where they're kind of working for themselves or betting on themselves, is you can't ever be afraid to invest in yourself. You know, like, you just have to, you know, we know investing means, you know, you have a potential to make more money. So if I know that I can invest into something that can potentially make me more money, I know that the easiest thing to invest in is myself. Whether it's my appearance, whether it's my equipment, whether it's my space that I'm in, whether it's my whatever it is, like, don't be afraid to make yourself look good or feel good, or make, you know, even just something as simple as just, you know, continuing to, like, understand what it is that you need within your brand or your space. Like, everything, even creating your brand, is going to take an investment, whether it's a logo, whether it's animations, whether it's, you know, people that can edit your videos and make different cuts of different areas, like, all that stuff that needs to be done. You know, it has to be. You want people to get on every social media and see this, you know, and it's going to take time. And that's the biggest investment, time. At the end of the day, time is the biggest investment that you got to put into yourself. So it is going to take time. But, you know, I'm telling you, you can't fail when you bet on yourself. Like,
I appreciate that. That
You got no one to blame. Like who else can
No,
you blame?
right.
Like like it's their fault. But no, you invested in yourself. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's like what you're putting in is you understand the output that you want.
Right.
So don't be afraid to do that. Don't
Okay.
be afraid to just
I appreciate
be
that.
you.
Yeah. I like that. I'm always trying to be better too. So it's like
Mhm.
I'm open. I've had to learn to be open to critique,
Mhm.
but it's just like, especially with people who have like my best interest at heart, it's like, oh
Right.
yeah, they see something that they know I can improve on. Why would I not
Mhm.
listen to their advice?
Right.
Like, someone else is gonna think it, but just not tell me. So
Right.
might as well hear it from someone that I know has my, wants
Right.
the best for me.
Right.
Okay. So my last question for you guys: how do you follow Will Smith in the snow?
Right.
How do you follow Will Smith in the snow?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta you have to
I can make it. Let me make it easier. Yeah. You had his wife's name in his mouth, right? Keep my wife's name out of your mouth, right? And so instead of doing you how he did oh boy, because you're much taller and he might get some different type of repercussions. He comes and kidnaps Kay.
Okay.
But it's snowing. We like in Milwaukee or we in Toronto or wherever else it snows. It be snowing in Houston. They got them freeze storms and all that. And so you're trying to navigate. You're trying to. It just happened. He told you basically that he was going to do this. And you didn't believe him. So he did it. How do you find him in the snow?
Just follow his footsteps.
What do you mean?
He's leaving a trail
Right.
for you.
So
he's in the snow. You know where he's going, so just follow him.
Follow what though?
His footsteps.
What happened with like how I'm confused. The footsteps.
Footprints.
The footprints, his path. He laid a path for you to follow.
So you gotta follow the Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
So you gotta follow the Fresh Prince.
Oh. Yeah. That's what he wanted to
Will
say.
Smith,
Right.
Fresh Prince,
Sometimes.
sometimes.
That's what he
Alrighty. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Attain and Passion. Let your passion work for you. Ooh.